What is up, guys? What's going on? Welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be talking about the 2020 Georgia Senate special election. By the way, I'm super dead inside right now. I just finished watching the Seahawks-Cardinals game, and they lost on the last play, and that is one of the most heartbreaking losses that I've watched in the regular season. But whatever, the Seahawks are still 5-1, still the best team in the NFC. But going back to politics, this is not a football channel, but I just need to express the unfortunate sequence of events that have happened prior to the recording of this video. So, going back to the Georgia Senate special election, there's been a lot of talk about this being a seat that the Democrats are going to flip. I disagree with that for many reasons. First of all, I think that the polls we're seeing are very skewed, and if you want to look at them like the RCP average puts Warnock ahead by 10, and I'll actually pull up 538 Georgia special election polls. 538 will do better in showing them, of course, just U.S. Senate. For example, this poll from Landmark Communications that we're going to open in this new tab right here. What? I don't want that. Okay. It looks like, they're polling all four candidates, which is great, they're polling Matt Lieberman, Raphael Warnock, Kelly Loeffler, and Doug Collins, and that's all well and good. And the reason that they are seeing all these polls putting Warnock ahead is essentially because Matt Lieberman, who is the Democrat, who's the other Democrat aside Raphael Warnock, is basically getting 5 to 10% of the vote. He's not really super well known. He was originally the favorite to finish ahead of Warnock, back in April, May, like back in, or even in August, apparently Lieberman was favored, then he went down, and after Obama's endorsement, Lieberman really overtook him, and now Warnock overtook him, and now Lieberman is basically dead in the water, and I'm pretty sure he might even drop out of the race, which would be a big sigh of relief for the Democrats, but he's essentially going to get 5 to 10% of the vote. Warnock is going to get the other 90% of the Democratic vote, not of the entire vote, but of the Democratic vote. And then we're going to see Kelly Loeffler and Doug Collins split the Republican vote pretty evenly. I do think that Collins is going to get a couple more votes than Loeffler is, but again, it could go either way. I do think that Loeffler is a pretty weak candidate, but she has a bit more support with your more moderate Republicans. But either way, neither are that appealing because Collins is very conservative, and Loeffler has been caught in quite a few scandals, including her big insider trading scandal back in 2019. So that's not good for the Republicans. But I think the Democrats are definitely 100% going to win the outright vote, because we're going to see, my prediction would have to be 45% maybe for Warnock. No, not 45%, maybe 42% for Warnock, 5% for Lieberman, and then we're going to see, something like, 27% for Doug Collins and 26% for Kelly Loeffler. I'm kind of just going on the fly here, but we're going to essentially see Warnock win the outright vote, and that's what these are polling, saying, okay, Warnock's going to win the outright vote by 10%. Okay, I can live with that. But what happens if, and by the way, Warnock, I don't think he's going to get 50% of the vote. It's already hard for a Democrat to get that many votes in Georgia, but with another Democrat, Lieberman, taking away some votes from him, virtually impossible. So we're going to see happen is Warnock is going to win the outright vote, but we're going to have the top two finishers, which, for the sake of this video, condensing it, we're going to have Collins and Warnock go. So yeah, so that's essentially what's going to happen. And then in the primary, not only is because not in the primary, in the runoff. By the way, I think that even if this was a normal race like the other Senate election between Ossoff and Perdue, I still favor the Republicans. But since this is a runoff, the Republicans should be even more favored, and they're probably going to win the runoff by 5, 6, maybe 7%. And I'll tell you why. As you can see, Lieberman is Warnock. I keep saying Lieberman. Warnock is expected to win the outright vote, but in the runoff, he's probably we're going to see lower turnout, as we saw in the 2018 Mississippi Senate runoff between Mike Espy and Cindy Hyde-Smith. Espy got 420,000 votes. Hyde-Smith got 486,000 votes. It doesn't show the total, but for example, in the 2014 election, there was a lower that's a bad example, but I'll try to pull up the 2016 Mississippi election results, where Hillary Clinton, even though she was a much worse candidate than SB, got 65,000 votes, or 65,000 more votes than SB did. And you can say, okay, well, UEP, that's a midterm election. You can't necessarily compare it to presidential elections. Well, in this case, I can because this was a very low turnout presidential election. Hillary Clinton was a bad candidate. 2018 was a high turnout midterm election. Mike SB was a very good candidate. And by the way, Donald Trump is much more popular in Mississippi than Cindy Hyde-Smith. So, essentially that's the case. And if SB only underperformed Clinton by a couple thousand votes, I'd say okay, that's fair. But he outperformed her by 80,000 votes, and I think that if we just did a two-way race between SB and Hyde-Smith, it would have been even closer, and he probably would have only lost by around 30 to 40,000 votes. So yeah. So either way, I find it hard to think that the Democrats are going to win in Georgia. Again, I do believe that voter suppression is going on. But yeah. So again, guys, thanks so much for watching this video. This was a pretty quick recap of this election, why I think you should not buy into the hype of the Democrats winning this race. New presidential prediction coming out on Tuesday. Or hopefully Tuesday, ideally. That'll be my second to last prediction. We're almost a week away from the election. Oh my gosh, I'm so stressed out right now. But thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you all in the next one.